Grandparents are raising grandchildren in unprecedented numbers in the United States right now. ONR's Ed Murray takes a look at why that is and what's being done to help them here in Oklahoma.
There you go, big as you are.
Back to school, a rite of summer for kids. But for these adults, it's a rite that should be in their distant past. These are grandparents, once again in the role of parents. Sunbeam Family Services and its partners doing what they can to help.
A lot of grandparents are living off Social Security. They maybe get $700 a month to pay for rent, pay for food, pay for utilities. And they were living on that before they had their grandchildren living with them. Now they have added expenses.
Brent Whitson's hopes of early retirement ended 10 years ago when he got the call concerning his then one-year-old grandson, Corey.
There was some substance abuse issues, and then his mother went away to a private gated community, and he was thrown into foster care and to a shelter. And then he went to the other grandparents, and they decided that he was more than they could care for. And they called us.
Granddad has been there for Corey ever since, and now, on most weekdays, also looks after 4 additional grandkids.
There was chapter 1 where there's, you're married. I've been married 37 years. And then chapter 2, you have kids. Chapter 3, kids leave the nest, go to college. Chapter 4, there's a interstellar silence in the house when the kids are gone before the grandparents. You may experience this one day, and we didn't get that silent period.
Linda Chambers hoped for the best, but deep down knew early on she would eventually end up with granddaughter Jessica and her brother.
Their mother had medical issues, and then she had mental issues, and then she had opioid and alcohol and meth issues. And so she was with us until about 2 years ago. And now it's just the kids and me because I took legal guardianship.
Linda and Brent are far from alone. Numbers provided by the Oklahoma Department of Human Services show that as of 2017, more than 97,000, or 10.3% of all children under 18 in our state, live in homes where a non-parent relative is the householder. More than 45,000 grandparents are responsible for grands who live with them. And of that number, 45% have no parents present, 21% live in poverty, and nearly a third of those grandparents have a disability.
The packets have, basic necessities. You can see
Corporal Kim Lopez is the triad coordinator for the Oklahoma County Sheriff's Department, which combined with other law enforcement agencies to buy these backpacks.
That sacrifice that senior adults make to raise their grandkids is first of all, it's untold. We don't realize when we see seniors that they're doing without that new pair of eyeglasses that they really needed, or hearing aid batteries, or medications.
These so-called grand families are created by a myriad of reasons, but all too often in Oklahoma, the cause is addiction and/or incarceration.
I can absolutely sympathize with the family when you see these kids and they know their mother or father or both of them are, in prison or whatever, but it's not always the case. It isn't. I have to focus on the good that we're doing.
Legislators in the next session will once again tackle our high rate of women behind bars, many on drug charges. But even for those directly impacted, there's no clear, easy solution.
Addiction is a terrible thing. Incarceration is a terrible thing. I think probably each sentence should look at a possibility of commutation based on the charges.
Living what I've lived through, I have a hard time with calling these women nonviolent offenders. They may not have gone out and robbed a stranger or shot a store clerk, but they're not nonviolent. The violence in the house, the treatment, the trauma, those things.
14-year-old Jessica Myers is living this reality, volunteering this day and offering advice to those in her situation.
I would say just take a deep breath. It'll be fine. Things will work out. Just don't let what happened in the past ruin what you'll have in the future, or let that ruin your relationship that you'll have with your grandparent.
Support for these grandparents is growing. New Song church members providing the shoes and uniforms for this event, just one example.
There's more today than there was last year. And last year the last 10 years, we've just kind of floundered. We've been on our own.
I think a lot of them are lost. They don't know where to turn to. So luckily they do turn to Sunbeam, and we're able to walk them through what their current situation is, what their needs are, potentially what their needs could be 3 months from now, and provide those resources.
Sunbeam's mission is in 4 counties in central Oklahoma, but there is similar support statewide through DHS. OKCares.org is also a good place to start. Just know there is support and help no matter where you live.
One of the grandparents said today it takes a village, and it really does take a village in this day and age to raise children. But the good news is we're all here to help in this village.